Oh, it's live already.
It's live already.
Okay.
So, hey everyone. Oh shit. Okay. Watch party na tayo. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cork Inares, and I will be your host and moderator for today. We are now on day 3 of Creative Exchange, powered by 0917. And we are almost over with our series talks, and I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of amazing and useful tips that has flowed already. To our new people watching, to our new audience members, just want to share with you on what Creative Exchange is all about. We certainly know now about COVID-19, and its outbreak has been very stressful for all of us. It certainly has brought us huge changes in our lives, financial security, our daily routines, and of course, social distancing and isolation. 0917 Lifestyle created this platform, Creative Exchange, to somehow distract us from the worries and fears that this pandemic has been giving us, while also giving us a platform for an exchange of new ideas and productivity suggestions. We believe that taking care of our minds is one of the things that we should do to cope with this difficult situation, and we want to virtually and creatively reconnect with all of you on this. And today we have a amazing host, amazing guest. So you do have an amazing
yung host
host. We have an amazing guest. AJ Dimarucot, who is a self-taught graphic designer known for his iconic work on t-shirts, having designed for brands like Nike, Jordan, Adidas, and a multitude of independent brands. And AJ was also an art director for Ogilvy, largely responsible for starting the digital department, which went on to win numerous awards even after he left. He has been a judge in the local design shows and has been invited to speak at the Graphic of Manila in 2008 and 2015. He now regularly appears in colleges and universities to discuss work. So without further ado, AJ Dimarucot, what's up?
Hello, guys. Can you see me?
AJ.
I don't even know where to look. Okay ba?
Oh,
Andyan ba ako?
I think ano. Ayan. All right. So there.
Kamusta?
AJ, kamusta?
I watched your show yesterday. Sabi ko, I need some tips and information. And okay naman. Masaya naman. Gusto ko yung conversations mo with Direct, ano yung first name? Jade ba? Or Direct Jade?
Jade Castro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we go way back to Live Journal. Ba?
Yeah, and you're talking
but
about
you and I, we go way back.
Oh yeah. I think sa music scene tayo nakikita dahil din sila.
Yeah.
The Team Manila Boys, the Xchange Boys, boy and girl pala si Xchange. So
and then also I think yung Ogilvy ka pa eh. So I think it was also advertising. That's where I met you maybe.
I think we brought you in for I think it was a Nokia project. Did we do something there? Right? Di ba parang create a film? Parang ganun ba? Or
you would with Jun Reyes and all of those guys. Tapos first video phone yun
yung mga yes, tas yung mga top artists, video and photographers like you guys, you use the phone and create something, di ba? Parang I remember that was ages ago.
So no, but then since then you've pretty much built an empire and and then have taken the international stage. So
empire,
looking forward to you.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and then we talk about that.
I'm here to share whatever experience I have, you know.
And also like how has it been? Nga pala. I mean, it's always checking in.
It's very tough now, at least for some creative people. I was affected majorly because ever since I left Ogilvy, you mentioned Ogilvy. I left Ogilvy in about 2008, I believe. January of 2008. And nag-focus ako sa apparel industry. I just wanted to make design t-shirts. And now, and a huge client of mine is in retail. So literally, ang kliyente nila yung mga mga Target, yung mga ganyan, yung mga big box retailers in the US na wala ngayon.
Wow.
There's zero, and we used to supply a lot of designs for my client, and then who then sells designs to his clients. And so nobody's going to malls, nobody's buying t-shirts. Although online meron, but the clients kasi ng clients ko mostly mall-based eh. So wala silang binibiling work from designers. So because they're not selling anything. And plus if they buy anything and produce something, pati si China is delayed in their production. So everything's pushed back. So wala akong business ngayon. Like more than 50% of my freelance work is gone. So like some people here, wala nang jobs, wala nang work. Kasama ako doon, clients.
And I'm sure also locally, I think, baka especially locally, no? Parang hirap palang, no one wants to advertise right now. Nobody is really, because of, I guess, stricter lockdown than other countries. Parang ang hirap maging consumer ngayon. So,
it's hard.
I'm sure.
Everything where you have to go to a space, pare, it's affected.
Yeah, exactly.
Diba?
Yeah, and so I mean, like I'm really interested in what you have for us today, because I saw some of it, and it's a really I think practical more than anything look at how to navigate the creative industries right now in a time like this. Can you talk
definitely.
more about?
Definitely. I have this group kasi, and also my personal network. I keep asking, parang before I actually did this, parang said yes to this, parang ano ba yung gusto nyong malaman at this point? And I gave them parang questions like, saan maghanap ng kliyente? How do I start freelancing online? Yun yung two major things. How do I stay creative at home? How do I work from home, effectively? Pero ang pinaka mukhang kailangan talaga ng tao is, saan ba ako maghahanap ng projects? Saan ba ako kukuha ng source of income? Lalo na kung wala na akong trabaho, or nawalan ako ng kliyente tulad ko, nawalan ng clients ng major source of income. So ito yung pag-uusapan ko today. So should we just go straight to the then you can just stop me anytime, ask questions. Usap lang tayo. Yeah.
And to anyone who's watching right now, and please just don't worry. We're not gonna do okay. Ito na yung question and answer portion. We're gonna keep this free flowing. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions as soon as you think of them. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking for I'm sharing my screen from my phone. Here you go. Hold on. I don't know if you're seeing that.
Nice. Okay.
Let me just load it up a bit. Kasi ngayon nasa pag-uusapan natin yan. I guess it's still reading.
Oy, daming
Dami kong prepare para sa'yo.
Steven Seagal!
Oh yeah. Nahuli mo.
I'm excited.
Nahuli mo si Steven Seagal. Yeah, so like we said, how to navigate this time of uncertainty and using creativity in the sense of not just parang wala spark. Anyway, creativity in the sense of.
Sorry, I'm just here.
But you're there. Okay.
I'll come in when I.
Okay, got it. So creativity in the sense na, creative endeavor, like write a song, paint, or paint a painting, or that, and also creativity in terms of learning new things, and also trying to solve this problem of COVID and where's my next project coming from. So I'm just going to quickly go through an agenda. I'm going to talk a little about the new OFW dream. what's currently happening and how to get into a creative zone and where to start. Finding work online and finding jobs and clients. Just a few tactical tips on actually doing this, and finding clients, and also starting your own um, passion projects. Parang I want to try to be able to frame both of those things in the overall parang timeline of what do we do now, what do we do next, and what do we do in the new normal. And then we can discuss questions and after, but obviously, like I said, you can just ask anytime you want and we can talk about it. So ito yung pangarap ko, Quark. Remote work is not the future of work. It's the present of work. Nangyayari na yan. This is actually a slide that I used before, like a year, parang not a year, but last year pa. But now it's becoming so true because of the situation. There are about 2.3 million OFWs in the Philippines, all over the world, according to the PSA. And there are about 1.5 million online Filipino freelancers, according to the DICT. So medyo malapit na siya, pero wala pa dun. And some of the top occupations here in the Philippines, working for people like me, working for clients abroad, includes creative and multimedia, clerical and data entry, and software development. So dito ako sa first in creative multimedia as a designer ako. So ano yung pangarap ko? Yeah.
Sorry, for something like that, does stuff like taxes, have they figured out a way to kind of streamline yung mga ganong issues when you're doing, I guess when you're an online worker, basically na freelance?
Yeah, I think that's the big question mark there, kasi a lot of people the government actually considers it as kind of underground. Mm-hmm. Kasi parang you don't know who these people are. But because now of the situation, we have been in talks with a lot of private groups as well as government, and they're even suggesting government or some of the private groups saying, alam namin na problema din yung freelancers ngayon. So how do we help this creative industry? So sinasabi nila, what if they all, sign up through government, I guess BIR. Parang may kasamang parang forgiveness kung hindi ka nagbabayad ng buwis mo dati. Pero, we'll sign up now, we'll help you in exchange for you signing up now and paying in the future. Mm-hmm. So there is, may kumbaga, meron ding ganon kasi the way also in other industries, also not only online Filipino workers, diba? Mm-hmm. Marami ring mga freelance dyan or mga yung tinatawag na professionals, I guess, mga artista ba o director katulad mo, di ba, na posibleng hindi siya in the system of the government. Kasi di ba, parang freelance kasi yung industry na karamihan ng creative industries dito sa atin. So medyo madali siyang maapektuhan, lalo na sa ganung panahon dahil wala tayong support system in that sense. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the current situation also later, yung what's happening. Okay. Yung pangarap ko lang is, just quickly, is sana magkaroon tayo ng mas maraming online Filipino worker dito sa bansa natin kaysa sa yung overseas Filipino worker. Parang ang pangarap ko ay magkaroon tayo na hindi na kailangan umalis ng isang Pilipino sa Pilipinas para lang masuportahan niya yung kanyang pamilya dito sa Pilipinas. Iba dito, Quark, yung mga, syempre, may mga kaibigan tayo or pamilya na, gusto ko lang tumira sa France eh. Kumbaga, I don't have family I need to take care of in the Philippines. I mean, that's fine, right? I have family who's in the, I have a brother in the US, sabi lang nga, this is my life, this is where I live. So, okay lang yan. They just want to live there, right? But meron yung mga OFW na yun lang ang sarili, yun lang ang way na mapakain ko yung pamilya ko sa Pilipinas. Kailangan ko umalis ng bansa. Yun yung hindi totoo at pwedeng pwede ka magpakain ng pamilya mo dito, earning in currency abroad, and you're still in the Philippines. So yun yung dream ko. Okay?
Yeah.
So ito, we're just gonna show quickly lang a bit of my story. How because I've been doing this for the last 12 years. I've been an OFW, basically an online Filipino worker, and I haven't left the Philippines to find a job. Nag-start ako siguro 1990s. Ewan ko, Quark, kung alam mo yung mga Photoshop dati, ng 90s.
Ito nga lang yung alam kong Photoshop. 3 point.
Yun na yung pinaka-first mo and last na nagamit mo yung Photoshop.
Oh, yung college. Ganun.
So nag-start ako, parang nagsastraddle ako between Photoshop 3 and 4 at the time. And I was just really, pre-YouTube days, pare, it was really just a journey of self-learning. And walang YouTube. I went to this site called fong.com, it says there. And I had to learn how to put drop shadows on my text. So parang at that time, that was such a complicated process to just add a drop shadow. Ngayon, isang click na lang yan eh. My daughters could do that. So yeah, in that whole process of just self-learning, I guess very related to being a creative person is just learning on your own, and then interest-based learning. If you're interested in it, then you will do whatever, to learn something. And then from there to being able to design for Manny Pacquiao and Nike, and like you said, Steven Seagal.
So kasama talaga si Steven Seagal or nagkataon lang?
Nagkataon lang yan na actually, shout out dun sa kung sino man nagkumuha ng shot na to. But I sabi ko nga, si Manny here was wearing my design eh. So, and then I saw Steven Seagal parang sakto. Sabi ko, parang mas proud ba ako na sinuot ni Manny yung t-shirt ko or yung design ko nasa tabi siya ni Steven Seagal? So parang to me, this is like, yeah.
Galing, it was a whole line of stuff. Was it for
different fights? Nike? Yeah, for a different fight for Nike. I worked through Nike and to design for Manny when yung talagang heyday niya back in the day. Yun, and then being able to design for the Jordan brand, which is idol ko yan si Michael Jordan ever since 80s eh. So getting the opportunity to design for his brand was a dream. This is a shot of a design of mine that I did a while back, and I just happened to be watching a live game in the NBA, and then I spotted this in the crowd, and behind Michael Jordan himself, and a design of him behind him. Sinasabi ko nga, if as creatives we put ourselves so much into our work that we are our work. So this is a photo of me and Michael Jordan. that's what I tell people.
Was this post-retirement? Or?
This was post-retirement. This was a game between his team, the Charlotte Hornets. Tama ba? Yeah, this team that he owns, and then versus LeBron James, isang sikat din na player, na idol naman ng son ko, who's 18 years old, 19 years old.
Wow.
So this was actually a scene where they were shaking hands, and I caught that graphic. So very iconic for me ang image na to. And then talking about LeBron James, that was the game they were he shook his hands, and then me meeting him here, him shaking my hand as well. Parang feeling ko parang may circle of life na kumpleto.
Oh, nice.
Sinake niya yung hands ni Michael Jordan, at nung na-meet ko siya, sinake niya yung hands ko. Parang pinasa na yung na-shake ko na rin yung hands ni Michael Jordan. So this was, I work with May and sila John Rick, obviously you know May, right? and we somebody said, may nag-comment, you met your Jesus Christ. Anyway, so this was when he visited the Philippines, and there were 10 of us who created a, sneakers. Nag-ano kami, customize kami ng sneakers para kay LeBron. Yun, so that's how I got to work with Nike and Jordan brand. And parang ito yung how did it all start? Yeah.
Oh,
parang
wow.
how did it happen? Parang this was back in 2008 when it's a little passion project that I started to just design a graphic of this player naman. His name is Kevin Garnett. He used to play for the Boston Celtics. Parang I just wanted to encapsulate his persona on an image and put that on a shirt. It isn't a real shirt. This is just like a mock-up of my vision for a graphic. Parang sana may t-shirt na ganito kasi susutin ko siya. So it just all started like that, and then he was an Adidas endorser at the time, and then I was trying to find a way to reach out to Adidas to hopefully pitch a design to them, pitch the design. Hopefully, baka bilhin nila eh. And then I was telling you earlier, I met a guy in the most random way in Sagiho watching some band. I don't even remember what band it was, and then my friends introduced me to a guy named Andrew Garcia, who now actually owns alam mo yung Don Papa Ram. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's the story. Andrew used to be with Adidas at that time, and I said, "Oh, you work with Adidas?" And I said, meron akong design I wanted to show you. I had just met him, and we were probably a little bit tipsy.
You were with Ogilvy at the time, or?
I had just resigned. Resigned, yeah, from Ogilvy at the time. And I said I'll email him, and then he told me, just email me on Monday. I'll send it over to our colleagues in the US, and then I sent it to him. Nag-reply siya. Parang he just told me, I sent it to the guys in the US. Good luck, parang ganyan. So wala na, I never heard back from them until like about a year later when somebody from Jamaica emailed me and said, "We love your design. It looks like a zombie, and we'd like to buy it for $300." And then ako like, jumping at the first, way, parang online, if you're gonna make money, take the chance, diba? So I sold this guy for $300 to a Jamaican brand, and they printed it here, like on this next slide. They printed it on a t-shirt and made him pink and purple.
Gully Creeper.
Yeah, they asked me to write Gully Creeper. I don't know what that means. I guess there's something there in their language. So they loved it. They printed it, and that was that. And then 3 months later, I get an email from Adidas in the US, and they showed me the same graphic, and they said, "We love this design that you sent to us a while back, and we would love to work with you. We'd love to buy it from you." And so that's when it started, yung dilemma ko. Parang parang anong gagawin ko? Binenta ko na to sa Jamaica eh.
Sa Gully Creeper.
Sa Gully Creeper. Sabi ko sa loob ko, well, I sold him as a zombie. Baka pwede ko pa rin siya ibenta as Kevin Garnett. So parang yun yung mga dialogue ko sa internal dialogue ko. Sabi ko, nag-alay pa ako ng itlog sa Quiapo, tapos kasi kumbaga ano ba yung gagawin ko at this point, diba? And then but I had to tell them the truth. I said I had sold this to Jamaica, and baka we can work together on some other designs. Tapos Sabi niya, it's cool, and we'll do some other graphics. And so we did some designs for their
Nice.
other parang
Players.
their superstars at that time, si Dwight Howard tsaka si Derrick Rose. And so that's how
I
that's
like
how I got.
the wolf, werewolf,
Yeah,
ano.
yeah, parang at that point gusto nilang parang beast, parang ganun yung style niya eh.
Mm-mm.
So, and then the funny thing was, like 3 months later, I get an email from Nike. The same year, I don't even know what like the difference in the timeline. I think it was the same year. They saw this graphic of the same guy that I did, that I had posted online, and they told me, "Oh, we're from Nike. We love your design, this graphic of yours. We want to hire you to do some T-shirt designs for us." And
Wow.
and that was that. So that was like what really opened the doors for me in terms of the possibility of working with the brands that I loved, wherever they are and wherever I was in the world. Parang the internet has made everything so small that parang yung pangarap ba, Quark, is wala nang walang
Wala nang
hindrance dun sa
boundary.
pangarap. Walang nakakahinder sa pangarap natin, kumbaga. So that's why parang feeling ko this is what I need to tell the Filipino creative person, na parang may posibilidad even in difficult times, even in times of struggle. Meron tayong pwedeng gawin. So yun, that was
Actually, see, Paul John Ariza is asking a question, which I wanted to ask also. But so you're lucky, yeah. You met Andrew and you sent it to Andrew and it kind of got around. But when Gully Creepa saw your work, where did you post it at the time? And where should people start? What are the best places for people to post their graphic work?
Ako post it at the time kasi medyo less yung options, no? So wala pa yung kasikatan ng Instagram, wala pa yung kasikatan ng although Facebook I think was around already but not as active. Baka panahon pa yun ng 2008, ano ba tayo nun? Friendster ba tayo nun? I don't even
DeviantArt, mga ganun.
Oo, mga ganon. So yung nahanap ako ng Nike, I posted it on Behance.net. So I think people should continue to post there kasi maraming mga dun art directors, creative directors, and they're always looking for new talent. So that's one. When I found the Jamaican guy, I posted on a very specific niche group of t-shirt designers. It was called mts.com, pero wala na siya ngayon eh. So, like in whatever industry you belong to, there's always probably a popular site that's where everyone goes, aside from, say, Twitter or whatnot. Whether it's on Reddit or somewhere else, I'm sure there's an online forum or group where you can just share your works. To me, one is Behance is so important. And then now there's Instagram, there's Dribble, there's Twitter. What I always tell people is, go ahead.
Instagram's a good, kasi ang daming noise eh, diba? Everybody, pretty much everyone in the world has Instagram, but it's actually for scouting, for putting your work out there. It's actually a good medium, good platform.
I haven't found success, but a lot of people say sa Instagram talaga sila. So, kanya-kanya eh. Parang, ang pinaka-learning ko dyan is, if there's one platform that you choose, you just have to go all in on that. Kumbaga, parang, kaysa yung pakonti-konti dito, pakonti-konti doon. Actually, ako medyo slow nga ako sa Instagram. Maybe that's why I don't find so much success there because I don't post every day. But if you do post there every day, I'm pretty sure you can find clients there. Like there's this guy, his name is Dark Gravity, si Patrick. Sobrang galing ng art niya. He does a lot of like cut out paper of endangered animals. Sa Instagram talagang sumabog yung yung following niya, and He does a lot of commissions now for global, like a nice hotel in France, for example, for his artworks.
Dark Gravity.
So, yeah, si Patrick Cabral.
Okay.
Dark Gravity yung Instagram niya.
Si Troy Sitosta also says you were on a t-shirt website, if he recalls.
Yeah, that's probably the empties.com one I was talking about. That's where I post a lot of my work. Parang a lot of what I do kasi is when it starts with a project or a passion project, which I can talk about later as well. I just always put it out. Parang kahit hindi ko siya client, or it's just maraming nagsasabi, uy, fan art yan. Okay, fan art, fine. Okay, I'll do fan art. I'll post it. And I share it. And then sometimes it just falls on the right person's lap and says, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so do you want me to, I'll move on. I'll go on with this. Parang what's happening now, medyo seryoso kasi yung scenario natin ngayon. I did a survey with first with my Facebook group, and then it got spread around some other Facebook groups of creative. We surveyed lang parang what's going on in your situation, and I wanted to share lang this particular information here on the bottom. Parang 4.25% represents about the number of people who were earning less than 5,000 pesos before COVID-19, the lockdown happened, and then that number jumped to basically 54% of the respondents said they earned less than 5,000 after nagkaroon ng lockdown, ng ECQ, lahat ng... So, grabe yung nawalan ng trabaho at nawalan ng projects. At yung rate na yon, yung ages nila were about primarily 21 to 40 years old. Some hanggang 50 years old, 41 to 50. Andiyan na tayo sa bracket na yan. So,
nga, buti naman.
Umabot tayo. Okay, malapit ka na. Pero ako lang pala. So, ang nakakatakot dun is that 73% of them had a dependent of at least 1 to 5 people were dependent on that income, Yung income na naging less than 5,000. At ang sinusuportahan nila 1 to 5 people. And then the next group was 11%, which is around the people who had 6 to 10 dependents. So imagine that, like 85% of the respondents had to support up to 10 people, 1 to 10 people. And yung kita na lang nila during that month is less than 5,000. So imagine how that affects everybody, right?
And this was it's all in it's more or less all mediums, no? Everything from apparel to advertising to...
Yes, the majority that I saw here were really the graphic designers. Yung 42% had the title of graphic designer. Mm-hmm. So the next were art director, merong I don't remember the actual numbers, pero art director, may creative director, may illustrator, mostly ganon eh. But almost 50% were graphic designers talaga. So parang what do we do now, diba? Parang what are we doing? There's this group called the Creative Economy Council of the Philippines. They're led by Paolo Mercado and our colleague also Joey Alviar, kilala mo yan. Mm-hmm. So kausap natin yung government, parang yung na-mention ko nga kanina, yung how will government help the creative industry? Yung pwede silang mag-sign up to, let them know, we are the creative industry underground people, but tapos bigyan sila ng parang forgiveness na if you haven't paid taxes from way back, di ba? So now you can sign up and we'll help you, parang ganun. So they're leading that, the CECP, and with the help of DTI, the Design Center, along with the Communication Design Association of the Philippines. Kami yan nila Dan Matutina and Joey. and some other groups, no? So hopefully something will happen from that kasi some of the industries, you're in film, di ba? So alam mo yung FDCP ba yun? So meron silang binibigay sa mga workers who were displaced eh. May funding sila eh. So parang kami as the graphic designers, the other creative people, paano naman, how do we help? No? So ito yung parang kinakatok natin sa gobyerno, paano naman kami? Parang ganun. So yun. Now, parang yung talk natin is supposed to be about creativity. Parang I'm just gonna talk a little about the creative zone, and this graphic that I found online really helped me. I found this notion that creativity is the opposite of comfort. Initially, actually, when the COVID started, I was still feeling comfortable. Parang I was binging on Korean novelas. Nanonood ka ba nun? Nanonood ako ng mga K-drama, pare.
My wife and I were watching Chloe. Pero di pa namin natapos. I feel bad. I started Chloe before.
I watched Chloe na, and then my wife and I, we both watched it. We watched, na rin. So yeah, no, not that one. Yung isa, yung, my goodness. No, it's I think my wife's shouting outside and telling me what it is. Oh, it's the Goblin one. Goblin yun.
Goblin.
Yeah, Goblin.
So si Yun Bin. Fan yung kasama mo ni Yun Bin. Ay, gong yung pala yan siya.
Gusto niya yan. Oh my God, man. That was the comfort part of when we started the whole lockdown. Oh, let's binge, let's watch. And then, because when you feel comfortable, you're not doing anything, right? You're just watching K-drama all day, and we went through that phase.
I'm still there. Not K-dramas, but yung mga trashy reality TV, mga ganun.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we need that naman eh. They're saying it's okay not to be productive, diba? So yun. So I saw this graphic now online about the comfort zone. It's essentially where the red zone, the comfort zone is where we're just watching K-drama all day for a week or so. And then there's the fear zone when it hits you that, the reality that, wala na pala akong trabaho, or I need to feed my kids. And then you're in a rush and, trying to figure out your next steps. And then when you hopefully go beyond that, you get into a learning zone. Actually, you have to get into a learning zone to get outside of the fear zone, I believe, because that's a zone where when you learn things, when you grow, and then the growth zone is like essentially you're living the life that you want. And just some of the keys, like just the notes that from this graphic that I found. I can't attribute it because everybody's saying they created it, at least on online. So your comfort zone is where you feel safe and in control. When your fear zone is where you lack confidence, you find excuses, you're affected by other people's opinions. As a creative, Quark, I don't know if you live here sometimes. I do live here sometimes. Most of the time, like in my whole career, like growing as a creative. Yung lalo na yung apektado ka sa sasabihin ng ibang tao, diba?
Yeah. That's why na-corporate na ako.
Yan ang curse.
Ayoko na.
Yeah, that's the curse of a creative person, man. It's so hard.
I read a tweet and I kind of I even took a screen cap and I use it naman in my talks na if you're into self-crippling self-doubt, a career in the arts is for you.
Wow. Yeah. Ang ganda. Parang yun lang yung role natin sa buhay. Pero naisip ko nga, Quark, is like how do you parang I don't know if you agree with this notion that I think we are the only industry, the creative person is the only person or industry in the world talking about everybody from music to directors, film, everything, advertising, graphic design. Parang tayo lang yata ba ang industry na yung way to validate us is through awards?
Maybe. Parang
like all the all these Grammys, all these Emmys, all these Oscars, and then in the advertising, the Cannes Awards, the biggest awards.
And also, I mean, ironically enough, I think, and there is that other opinion, which I kind of too, is that the
Okay,
awards don't matter, di ba? Parang
of
as long
course,
as,
meron yan. Oo,
di ba, na
meron
yun yan,
yan.
dapat hindi ka nag-aspire to that, even though meron na parang may recognition involved and but di ba, how many artists, how many filmmakers yung have survived na 50 years later binabalikan pa, like perfect, Stanley Kubrick or Alfred
Mm.
Hitchcock, two of the greatest directors ever acknowledged, actually have never won Oscars. So
I
so
didn't know that.
and Martin
Okay.
Scorsese only won for The Departed, so mga 40 years into his career.
Right.
So there is that also school of thought na maybe awards shouldn't really matter for creatives. But you're right, uh,
Yeah.
for athletes it's awards also, but it's based on the wins kasi, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like a literal score that you can for us it's hirap no. Pero baka yun eh. Baka yun eh. So it's so vague that they have to create these shows to try to validate. Parang what if yung validation is how many people watch their film, di ba? Parang that's also one way, right?
Yeah.
Parang yung sinasabi na yung Marvel daw is not ano ba yun sabi niya ni Scorsese? It's not film. It's not cinema. So parang ang daming di ba, doon, di ba? Maraming nag-argue, maraming nagalit, maraming. Anyway, that's
si Fian, also a t-shirt designer, says reminds me of a joke that she heard about jazz but can be related across the creative industries. How do you become a millionaire as a jazz musician? You start as a billionaire.
Galing. Oo nga, no?
True. Diba?
Galing. Yeah.
And Troy says there are creatives who live for awards, there are creatives who live to survive, and there are those who live to help their clients. Yeah. Totoo. And so you can't but the starving artist phenomenon. I mean, it's a trope kasi it is most true, diba? So yun nga, parang buti na lang wala na tayo sa 90s where may mindset na pag nag-advertising ka, sell out, you're a sellout. Parang or if you sell records, diba? Parang like at least that mindset isn't there anymore, because I mean we still have to make a living, diba?
Yeah, I've 5 people to feed. I have kids. Yeah. I mean, parang ultimately pwede pa rin siya maging goal na you're an artist, a true artist. Pero now we don't, parang it's such a privilege to say that that you can do that. Sa akin ngayon, it's how do you pay rent? Yung ganun. How do you pay for the tuition? Yung ganun. So those are the real things that punch you in the face and say, diba? Parang anong artist, nagtrabaho ka. Diba? So, but yun. So, I think when you grow into like leaving that comfort, that fear zone, you're learning, and then you're acquiring new skills, and which I feel like is essentially the creative zone. Parang how do you get into the creative zone? Parang feeling ko this fear has forced us na parang kasi kailangan mong ito, parang yung diskarte natin na parang paano ko diskartehin tong wala akong trabaho ngayon. Hindi maghanap akong other ways to make money, especially online. So yeah, the virus has pushed us into fear, and fear has forced us to get into the creative zone. Paano ako mag-isip ng new things? What can I learn in the next week or month or so to be able to sell that service to somebody that needs it? Or what do I have currently in my arsenal that I can quickly monetize into something else, right? So where do I start? Start selling online. A lot of Filipinos are actually doing it already. They're selling physical products. This is e-commerce. maraming Filipino dito who are very successful, Quark, and making few $1,000s of sales every day, like $1,000 to $5,000 of sales, and all they do is sell jewelry to the American market, and they use a system called a print on demand, or parang siyang, you buy the product and then tsaka gagawin yung order mo ng isang tao, tsaka niya gagawin yung jewelry piece. That model of business, if you go, you can do a whole parang series of talks just on that topic and how to make money online for doing that. And sell a service is probably one of the easiest ways, because a lot of people are buying services. Although a lot of people also lost jobs in the US, there's still also some opportunities, I mean globally, to be able to sell a service online. Okay, sell your knowledge. Like Quark, if you started today and say, magturo nga ako mag-direct habang nasa bahay. At paano yung gagawa ko ng course on how to use everything that's around you at home and how to make a short film of a 2-minute film, right? And if you start that, alam ko, Quark, maraming bibili niyan eh. Ako, bibili ako niyan. And I will try to learn that. Diba? I'll get into that course.
What are your favorite, the sites where you have been learning? I mean, especially now, we're stuck at home. What have you been looking at for inspiration and for good lessons?
There's a site called youtube.com.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one. And there's a lot. There's yung Skillshare is nice kasi you pay like a flat rate per month, like $10 or something, or $5 nga lang yata eh. Pero you can like just watch all the videos. Parang for $5 a month, you can upskill. Pero sobrang dami na kasi ngayon, even on YouTube, libre lang yung information eh. And you can really scour the internet, from Facebook groups to Twitter to YouTube, to
Any
find
favorite
like
channels?
There's this site called The Future. It's The Future without an E. His name is Chris Do. He built a business in a video animation. He did a music video for what's that band? I forget the name. Anyway, mas sikat na band yan nagawa niya. And then he totally left that space and created a YouTube channel. Coldplay. And then buti may mga sumasagot. Somebody, yeah. And then he just started a YouTube channel and help people, creative people like us, kind of navigate the business world. Parang how to become a creative person and also, have financial freedom in a sense, make money in a sense. Parang that's a very good YouTube channel to subscribe to.
Nice.
Yeah. And then sell a digital product. So like I told you kanina, parang you can sell your knowledge into a course or your knowledge into, say, an ebook. Marami nagla-launch ngayon, Quark, ng mga ebooks na how to do mga how-tos. And they're making a lot of money online. And there's this like the guy who was pioneering it in the Philippines has sold about $2 million worth of ebooks. So parang really? Parang totoo ba yun? Yeah, he started just selling like how to memorize Bible verses. And then he put that in an ebook, like easy to remember Bible verses. And then he sold it for like $30. And then he sold 17,000 copies. Yeah. His name is John Arana. May nagpost dito. So mga ganon, and he teaches that, and you kung gusto mo turo ng magbenta ng ebook, Quark, marami kang mabebenta. Ito rin, pwede mo rin itong gawin. Pwede mo ibenta yung life mo. Pagkagising mo,
Ano kaya
vlog
yung
ka na.
influencer ngayon, ano? Kasi hindi na sila pwede mag-Bali, Siargao.
Actually,
Interesting.
it's a very interesting time. I think the influencers now are people who are also in yung meron silang sinasabi.
Mm-mm.
Parang mahirap kasi kung ano lang yung visual lang yung 'di ba, yung maganda lang yung background ko, maganda yung photo ko, maganda yung suit ko. Baka it has to go deeper than that. I still believe there's an opportunity there to be able to parang capture that space if you choose to go that route. Yun. And then parang to me, if you get a mix of all of that, parang you'll be you're creating what people say your multiple income streams essentially, where you're able to sell products, you're able to sell your services, you sell your knowledge, and you sell your life. Or you don't have to do all of these things together, but if you have a combination of all of them, parang feeling ko kahit anong uncertain time, kahit anong economic, whatever downturn, as creatives, feeling ko you will survive it. Yun, that's so parang what I'll do here is like just show like a very tactical way of like tackling the scenario, no? Again, in the now, which is ngayon na, and then next 3 months, and the new normal, maybe things will change forever, so we don't know. So parang just a quick, people can just maybe screenshot this, or I can have a download of something, they can just list down all these things that they can do now, which is maybe sell physical products online. And then the next phase, they can sell some services online if they haven't done so. Sell their knowledge, put that on an ebook or a course, and then sell it as digital products. And then maybe even sell your life. Kung naisip ko nga, if I lived in a farm and I had good internet, I would just start vlogging every day and showing my life there. And and alam mo yung sa China, yung nagkukook lang siya ng, di ba? Di ba yung girl na nagkukook lang siya?
Parang sobrang zen yung
sobrang grabing berries. Sobrang addicting nung niya, ng channel na yon. And yun eh. Ayaw ko kung sponsored siya. Ayaw ko kung sponsor na siya ng, I don't know.
Galing, no? Pero she doesn't talk to the camera.
Diba?
Parang very, may meditational quality.
Sobra. There's one that you need to watch. It's called the Almazan Kitchen. I don't know if you've ever come across that at all.
I'll check it out. The Amazon?
No, Almazan Kitchen.
Almazan, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, you've heard of ASMR.
Yes.
So it's ASMR, and cross that with some dude cooking in the forest. Imagine that.
Okay. Sige.
So, yeah, Almazan Kitchen. So that's selling your life. So ako, when I started nga like this thing.
Ayun, friend Troy. Si Tosta ng Almazan Kitchen.
The best yung Almazan Kitchen. You should see that. Anyway, yeah, so what do I sell parang quickly, yung wife ko, sabi namin, let's sell itlog kasi mayroon kaming neighbors who need eggs, and parang hindi na kami lumabas ng bahay, nagbenta yung mga neighbors. We started selling to each other.
Saan ka ba ngayon?
I live in Pasig City. It's like a condominium system of about 6 towers. So sabihin natin 600 at least to 1,000 people live here. So there's a micro economy going on, and the people just buying off each other. Essentially, para hindi na Pasig kasi kami, so parang sabi ni Mayor, wag na tayong lumabas. Monday to Thursday lang kami allowed. Yung mga ganon sa aming depending on our barangay. So parang how do we like navigate that and sort of make a little bit of income on the side? So nagbenta kami ng itlog, pare. Yung wife ko, ginawan ko ng logo, ginawan ko ng teaser, Audrey's Eggs, at iba pa. So yeah, I posted it to our neighbors. Oh, bili na kayo ng itlog. Yung iba, uy, pabili naman ng bigas mo para sa... Bili kami ng bigas mo, bili ka ng itlog sa amin. So, may mga ganong nangyayari ngayon. So, it immediately puts a little bit of money on our pockets, right? So that's one way, like what you can do now, selling online. And then we started also selling masks to the US market, which we'll also try to do here in the Philippines because we run a little clothing brand. We haven't been selling lately because of all these things happening.
Where can we buy these masks? I mean,
this mask, maglalabas kami locally sa guguandgaga.com. It's a local brand that we started 12 years ago. But this in particular, we'll probably sell the same mask. This one naman is sold to the US market. So it's on guguandgaga.threadless.com. So Threadless is a big company that sells apparel all over the world. So we kind of...
So it's called the Silence because of Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
Which one?
Yung ito, the Silence.
Yes, nakuha mo yung reference. Yeah. Because
yeah.
Yeah, it's a design. Yeah. It's not even that. It's different insects and bugs. And then I said, ano bang title ko dito? The Silence. So parang ang galing mo, talagang buff ka na. Naisip ko nga, baka masyado pang malayo itong title na to. But I'm glad you got it. Anyways,
Pian's asking, what's your experience with Threadless? Okay ba?
Yeah, we put it up like a week or so ago. We still have few masks, and they're helping this org called Masks Meds for Rescue or something, and they're providing masks globally for the frontliners or people affected, and so every mask sold, they're donating about $250,000 at the most to that org. Yun, so parang that was initially our plan is to be able to help that organization, and kasi meron din sila, alam ko, dito sa Philippines, and yun pala, part of the proceeds also go to us as artists. So I mean, it's not much so far, but again, it puts a little bit of money on our table, on our pockets, pambili din ng diba, ng bigas. So yun, so that's one way. Like now, that's what I did. Sell what do you have now, sell it now. And then the next step is really finding jobs and clients. So this is going to be very tactical, that they can find these jobs online. Where do we find these jobs? And these are just some samples of websites that people can go to, like Dynamite Jobs, Remote.co. There's so many of them that if you Google them, sobrang dami. But when I found my first major client, it was on Craigslist.org, of all places. And that was like my client that I had, like that I was talking about earlier, yung nawala akong parang nag-pause kami dahil yung clients yung nasa retail space. But I love that client, and we've worked together for so long. Craigslist is like where I found that person. And then other places like, Upwork, People Per Hour, Workana, Freelancer, TopTal. A lot of Filipinos already find success here. I don't necessarily use them and have found success in them kasi iba yung path ng online Filipino freelancer, online Filipino worker. These are like parang the easiest places to find work kasi naghahanap na yung tao ng marami ng kliyente doon, naghahanap na sila ng ma-hire. So nandun na yung jobs mismo. So ako, and the majority of all these websites have a lot of Filipinos talaga in them. And then when I met somebody last year and who went to my workshop on, working online, and he already had some idea to start something locally, like a local startup, to provide Filipino designers and creatives jobs from abroad. And so itong kaya naka-yellow yung Filipino startup. So I'm going to be part of that. and I'm going to be helping him parang tap the creative industry here in the Philippines to parang lahat kasi ng sites na to, Quark, they were started from abroad, so it takes into consideration the clients there. So parang we said, parang isipin muna natin yung Filipino creative, ano yung karapat-dapat sa kanya. Kasi doon karamihan dyan, Quark, yung pabagsakan ng presyo eh. So ito yung gusto naming iwasan sa startup namin that I'm involved in, is to unahin natin yung Pilipino, unahin natin yung creative natin. How do we make it better for our Filipino creatives na hindi siya Pilipinas cheap yan, bigyan natin ng pabagsakan ng presyuhan. So we're trying to change that, no? And hopefully we will launch soon. In the next month or so. So I'll post that, I'll share that, and hopefully people join. And then finding jobs, clients using social media. There's a couple that I wanted to talk about. I kind of mentioned it earlier, or maybe not, where yung sa LinkedIn, I would just post some stuff on LinkedIn. Ito yung parang social media na hindi pinapansin ng creatives LinkedIn.
Yeah. Actually,
kasi,
very
diba?
useful, especially internationally.
Kasi parang hindi naman siya, it's basically not social media. It's parang, why do I need that, diba? Pero there's a lot of, what people don't realize, it's actually where the bosses are, the people who can hire you, the company owners, the CEOs, the design directors, the creative directors. They're all there, and they're always looking as well. And which I can talk about a little bit about that later when I posted something and I was able to find some leads and jobs. Yung sa Facebook lang, maraming ways na maghanap ng work Itong isa na to, it says Facebook posts. Looking for video editor. Alam mo narinig ko lang yung story na to sa isang Facebook group. Alam mo yung public post sa Facebook. Bale, nag-search lang siya, nag-type lang siya sa public post sa search bar, and then search all public posts. And that essentially searches the global public posts, di ba? And then he searched the phrase looking for a video editor. And then he messaged each and every one of those people one by one.
Wow.
And then found one guy who was telling him, "Oh, can we do a test? Like a video editing test." "Oh, yes, sir," sabi niya, he said. I think the client was American. And then I'll pay you, sabi nung Amerikano. Sabi niya, parang, wow, first time ko po na nag-test na binayaran ako. So parang, masaya na siya, di ba? Tapos maya-maya, nung na-okay naman yung video editing niya, maganda naman yung trabaho niya, in-offeran daw siya ng job. Sinabi sa kanya, "So I want to hire you for 2,000. Tapos sabi niya, wow, 2,000. Parang maliit yata yun Parang masyadong maliit. Sabi $2,000 sa kanya, sabi. So parang sobrang tuwang-tuwa niya na he was expecting na 2,000 pesos a month. Pero it was given to him for 2,000. I don't know if it was full-time. I don't remember the whole story, but that's what I read. 2,000 a month, $2,000 a month, and that's all he did. He was just looking for Facebook posts. And then, ako naman, what I do, I'm always on Twitter. I look for this. Ako naman, looking for designer. I post that on Twitter. These are like tactical talaga secrets of people looking for work. So I posted on Twitter, and then makikita mo looking for designer, or looking for editor, or looking for illustrator, looking illustrator, hiring designer, mga ganyan. I look for that, and then I did this I always do this, Quark. And then I did it like a week or two ago, and then I found one person who lives in Spain and had a job for a graphic designer online, and you wouldn't believe this. Their business is in Facebook quizzes. So it's essentially the job is to create Facebook quizzes.
Holy
Quizzes
crap.
like, quizzes like how 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 creative is your name, or how sexy are you? Yeah, mga ganon. You take the quiz and it shows how sexy you are. I don't know if you've taken them,
Yeah.
but
Yung
yeah,
mga, which character
yeah.
are you? Mga?
Which character are you? Which fantasy character are you? I've seen. Oh man. So essentially, I emailed that person, and and then we did some tests, and then sabi niya parang this is the job, blah blah, and made me an offer. Made me an offer to work for that company, from here, for a good amount of money. And
Wow.
I'm not parang being picky at this point. They even asked me that parang, are you sure you want to design quizzes?
Ganda.
Parang, right?
Troy is asking.
Diba?
Ganda. Troy is
So,
asking, is Twitter relevant to our work? He doesn't have one because it seems so toxic.
which one?
Twitter.
It doesn't have. Twitter. I love Twitter as a creative person. I love Twitter as a creative kasi para siyang unlike Facebook, if you're in a group, you don't know who people are. If you go like to a director's Facebook group, or I don't know if you know the people there when they post. But on Twitter kasi kilala mo na yung pag nag-post yung isang tao, oh, he's the owner of this magazine that I've always wanted to design for. You know what I mean? Parang parang I have a direct line to this person. So parang there's one sa Twitter ko fina-follow. He was the ESPN parang creative director of ESPN magazine, and then he was just, he'd always post, and I always follow his post. Meron ako yung kapag nag-post siya, lalabas na agad yung niya. Parang notifications. So whenever people pop up, we're looking for new ganyan illustrators to work with us. We're looking for new designers, blah blah. We're looking for new photographers to work with us. I'm always parang nakikita ko yun, narinig ko yun, parati kong nakikita. So it's literally just they're a message away and saying, hey, look, I'm an illustrator, ganyan, and take a look at my work. So I always do that with clients in the US, whether they're an art director, a creative director, an owner of an agency, a filmmaker who needs a graphic designer, an author who needs a book cover design. So I'm always listening on Twitter for those things, and a lot of them they're a private message away, and if they like your work. Now in that ESPN guy, I'm in his parang stable ba of artists that he can tap. So kasi I messaged him, but although I haven't worked with him directly, alam niya yung work ko, right? So it's
Troy's mind.
yeah.
Iwasan mo lang yung mga Troy, yung mga dilawan, mga
marami ako
mga trolls.
I think my algorithm so kung wala yun sa sa fina-follow mo, it doesn't show up yung mga ganon. Although marami ring mga yung tinatawag nila design Twitter na toxicity. Meron din yan. Pero ako doon ako sa I'm just looking for, trying to connect. Actually, may isa nga sabi niya yung tactic to how to parang work with somebody through Twitter. Sabi niya, for 6 months, all you do is engage with their content. You respond, but you respond in a way that is truly insightful. Meaning, if your favorite director Quark talks about the film or the film that they just created, and then you had replied to that, maybe to challenge them a bit or to say something different from a different perspective. Parang yung technique niya ganon is to do that for at least 6 months. And pagkatapos nun, that person will notice you. Parang ganun. Na, uy, okay to si Quark, magaling yung mga insight niya. Ano. And then you can have a direct line and say, hey, I love your work and we work together, blah, blah, blah. So, yan, ganun. Medyo yun yung sa akin, Twitter is something that I really use a lot. During this COVID, I've been able to secure at least $1,000 worth of projects on Twitter, just responding to people, they need something, they need a poster, and then that one guy nga who offered me like kind of like a contractor role, so for a fixed amount every month, which is it's a blessing kasi wala na yung client ko na sobrang laki. I mean, nag-pause kami. So, yun. So, Twitter's super good. And then, yun, fine. Okay pa ba tayo sa ano? Baka are we over? Can we still talk about this?
No worries.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so apart from like selling a service online and looking for jobs online, I guess parang this whole topic is also a huge thing for me, I believe. And then you heard my story of the Kevin Garnett zombie graphic that started out as a passion project. I heard your conversation yesterday with Direct Jade, and that you were doing videos, when you were in college, and as really basically as passion projects. And he was a writer, and he started to direct films basically on his own volition because nobody asked him to do that. So parang ako, I think as creative people, that is really our, parang ito yung, what is your voice and what do you want to say, diba, as a creative person? And you create that, and you start that. And so an example of that would be in the context of the next, what do we do next? I've always wanted to do fonts, right? So, and I've been inspired by old Filipino films, and Filipino lettering and typography in general. Yung mga nakikita natin sa jeep, yung mga nakikita natin sa daan, yung mga tubero, yung mga ganyan, tubero, mga ganon. So I wanted to start a like a passion project to create a typeface based on this lettering here that says Dolphy and Panchito, Gutierrez, Corrales. And so I created a font called Pidol, and hopefully be able to, monetize that eventually by giving a free font for now, and maybe down the line people will buy a more, a font with. Lagyan ko tubero. Wala pa akong tubero. So yun. There's a lot of, yeah, ang daming sila Joey LBR and a lot of sila Aaron Amar, si John Misael, Villanueva nga ba siya? A lot of local parang young designers are creating their own fonts, their own Filipino-inspired fonts. And I feel that's parang a very, very parang interesting time. And I think sakto ngayon, I think people will buy them. And ang vision ko naman dyan is not just locally, but we can send fonts to the world. Parang what if we sell our Filipino style fonts to the Western market, to the Japanese market, and why not, diba? It's highly possible. So that's another idea that I had. Nice. And then another passion project of mine is called the Filipino Nomads Creative Network, where I started a Facebook group to help people live, wherever they want and work wherever they want by working online and servicing clients online, whether they're selling clients or not, selling products or not, or selling to clients their services. So parang I keep posting free job ads here, and whenever I find one that's not in my realm, I post it here. So Quark, kung kailangan mo ng directorial job, magpa-post ako dyan ng, looking for a director. Or yung mga ganun, may konting mga video editor, meron mga animator.
It's up now.
It's a Facebook group. Yeah, it's a Facebook group. We're almost 2,000 people there. I just need to post more, post more jobs for people to apply to. Kasi sometimes yung ibang Pinoy, kailangan mo lang i-prod eh. Ito na yung trabaho. Mag-apply ka na lang. Di ba? So, baga, ito na yun. So, I'm also trying to help in that sense. And when I posted that on LinkedIn, going back to LinkedIn, I posted this. I also created a little sheet, a Google sheet of people who lost jobs, yung mga creatives. Sino ba yung nawalan ng trabaho? Maglagay kayo dito sa aking Google Sheet. I-share ko to. No, i-share ko sa Facebook group ko, share ko sa mga kakilala ko. I shared it on LinkedIn. And then when I had posted this on LinkedIn, somebody in the US parang followed me and added me. And then it said, I'm trying to form a team out there in the Philippines right now because they're in the industry of e-commerce. May mga mabibenta pa pala ngayon sa e-commerce, as in you'll be surprised. Yung business nila is in the millions of dollars on the daily basis. That's how much they sell on a daily basis. And millions of dollars, yeah.
Wow.
And
Troy kasi asked the question earlier about logistics. Like diba, parang hindi ba crippled yung logistics right now, deliveries, etc., because of the quarantine, or so far naman?
Sa atin I think crippled. Like there's nothing coming in, right? Unless, I don't know if that's, yeah. And then going out, I don't think it's also happening. But apparently the whole like China to US and then US to US to Canada, it's still there. It's still very much happening. There's this group that I belong to, and they manufacture products in China, and then essentially you can put up your own designs, and then they can print it on any product that you want, and then you sell that to the US market or the global market, and they essentially just take care of the fulfillment part and the printing part. This is the whole world of print on demand, drop shipping. It's we have a lot of Filipinos who are successful in that field as well, and so yun. So going back to that story, that guy, he was building a team out here. He wanted to build a team out here, and he reached out to me. And then when he saw this, immediately he was like, "Hey, that's a good thing you're doing, helping out your fellow creative Filipinos. We are in fact trying to build a team out there. Would you be willing to help us?" So immediately there's an opportunity again for me to either do a contractual work with this person or do a freelance gig with this person to help him build out a team. And then there's with the possibility of, becoming a full-time gig. So nakuha mo lang na parang nagsimula lang siya sa konting tulungan ko nga itong mga Pilipino, like a little passion project. How do I help all these Filipinos and also help myself? Parang, parang help hire these Filipinos. And then I just shared that, and then the opportunity would come to you and say, "Oh, we want to help," right? So parang ito yung going back to that fear zone kanina that I was talking to you about, the fear of parang thinking of what other people think. And parang when I do passion projects, there's always that fear of, do I share this? Do I put this out there? And will it get enough likes? Will people say, "What are you trying to do?" Or corny naman yung ginagawa mo, or whatever. There's always that little voice that talks in your head na parang, pero like this one, I was, parang I was scared to do this. Parang, why would you try to help Filipinos? Sino ka ba? Parang, are you magaling ka ba? Magaling ka ba sa design? Alam mo yan? Parang yun yung mga thoughts na naiisip ko. Parang, wala ka namang wala ka namang alam. Or parang at this point, I'm still parang battling with those little voices. But here, when I just put it out, these passion projects, when I put it out, meron din siyang kahit paano na may nangyayari din kahit paano. So hopefully I do work with that person. I've already spoken to a designer that I work with. He's from Bacolod, and he also lost like he has 5 people in the studio. He lost a lot of work kasi clients niya sa Bacolod panay malls malls tsaka mga restaurant. So parang he was able to corner that like the design economy, although a lot of them closed down kasi so now parang I'm able to help him as well, na parang maybe we can work together on this with this client, and then you can then also help your team out there. So those little things lang, no, na parang yung mga passion projects, meron na siyang napupuntahan. And so I'm just towards the end of the slides. So,
Taking off from that statement, though, si Patrick Jason Bautista actually says that, hello, Mr. AJ, I'm not really a creative person, but out of curiosity, how and where do you get inspiration, or how do you get to that creative zone?
Where do you get into the what? The
creative zone.
Ako, yung creative zone, pag kailangan mo magpakain ng anak. Yeah, parang that's essentially when you're pushed to a corner. That's when you think of ways, diba? It's always that in movies, right? Parang when they're in the most dire of circumstances, that's when something miraculous occurs, diba? When the sword, nandito pala yung sword this whole time. So yeah, there's something there.
Speaking of Jordan kanina, diba? Yung last dance, yung parang pag na siya, pag backed na siya to a corner, parang patalo na sila, yung parang biglang beast mode talaga.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I feel that is being creative. That is where creativity lives. Essentially, when you are cornered, and parang to me nga mahirap maging creative in comfort eh. Kasi parang somebody told me parang, how do you make songs when you're not sad? Di ba? Parang, or sabi niya rin, a lot of meron one guy, creative director Filipino, he said na parang all these creative endeavors that came out of in the last century were a result of a struggle. Like jazz, for example, or contemporary art and new hip-hop, ways of painting. Hip hop. It all happens in these all these industries. So sorry, does that answer your question?
So the answer is, Patrick, maghanap ka na ng problema.
Yeah, I think the situation really forces us. Pero tsaka ako, I think a lot of your creativity really stems from your own personal life. Kung saan ka nang currently ngayon, if you're talking about the creativity in the sense of what is the output, meaning do I write songs? Do I write a book? Do I paint? Do I start designing? Hindi ko alam kung alam yung ikigai, Quark, yung
ikigai, yes.
The ikigai is essentially
the 4 things.
The 4 circles of what you love and what you're good at, and then what people can pay you for and what the world needs is essentially like the center of that would be kind of like your own voice essentially, and your own, it could be your creative passion, it could be your creative your creative, so it could be whatever you want to do with your life creatively if you try to mix all of that together. So looking at the tools just quickly, you can project management tools, chat tools, video tools, Zoom, Dropbox, payment, There's one that I really want to focus on. It's called jobscan.co. It's essentially when you apply to work online, it checks your resume against the job description. Meaning, if the job description has a lot of words, your resume has to reflect that, the same words. Parang, and it gives you a score on how well your resume parang matches to the job description. Kasi na-learn ko lang to recently, when you apply pala to jobs online or, gigs or contract work, a lot of the time, it's not really a person looking at your resume or portfolio on the other end. Diba? It makes sense if there's like 1,000 people who apply to a job. It has to go through a system first that reads your resume and matches that now with the job description. So if you were, say, Quark, whether you are the best, say, director in the world, and then you applied for a director job and nobody knows you, and then the job says not the job says indie filmmaker or something who has done an automotive ad. So if your resume doesn't have that, immediately hindi ka na makasama doon sa shortlist. So I try to use this tool to match my resume every time I apply to a certain job, so that it matches the job description I'm applying to. Does that make sense? Yeah, jobscan.co, that one. So that's just a little trick that I learned recently. Parang kaya pala, and it's those things that us as creatives don't really think about. Parang you just submit whatever, your portfolio, your resume, right? Then so lastly, I think I wanted to leave you guys with some, like, just a little action plan, parang graphic that you can use to look for how clients find you through passion projects, like my stories, and then how you can find clients by looking through all the sites. If you have a passion project, where do you post it? What social media? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter, like myself? Is it Behance? Is it Dribble? Is it Facebook? Like specialty websites? Is it like is there a group? Is there an online forum for directors or animators? Then be there and be active there. Same as an important platform. And then finding jobs and clients, cold emailing. It's sort of how I cold message people on Instagram or on Twitter. And then, like job sites, job marketplaces, and social media. So parang to me, if you do these two things, passion projects equally as you try to search for work and sell, apart pa ito from like trying to sell products, trying to sell your knowledge. Ito kasi yung specialty ko, yung dalawa na to eh. So if I have an income stream for both of these things, then I'll be okay, I think. That's how I feel that I could thrive in this environment. And then in the new normal, what if I start again selling the knowledge of what I'm doing, and then people would become, subscribe to that knowledge, kind of like an online school. So for example, if there was a group like Quark, if there was a group of directors that came together and said, do you want to learn directing? And you can subscribe to our learning group on a monthly basis for 1,000 pesos a month. You learn how to direct, and it's all online. And then 1,000 people sign up. That's 1,000,000 pesos a month. So so that's the idea of monetizing what you know. And I feel, and I'm actually also there's another group naman that I joined where he's starting to do that, and he's picking some people like me in the design industry, and then he's spoken to, kilala mo yung si June De Leon, diba? So master legendary photographer. So we're gonna be teaching Filipino creatives apart from other specialists, meron din siyang somebody in the occupational therapy space. So we're gonna start an online platform to teach Filipinos. Kasi parang yung online learning, Quark, talagang it's exploding. That industry is going to be a $1 billion a day industry by 2025,
Wow.
according to, I forget the research firm, but I can Google that later. It's $1 billion a day. Imagine that. Lalo na ngayon, we've been pushed into a world where learning happens wherever you are, and right. I don't know what's gonna happen to schools. I don't know what's gonna happen to offices. So that's like really going to be the new normal, I think. So yun. They want to find me online. I mean, let's talk about questions first if you want. We can do more discussions if you
we
still
have
have
a few
anything.
questions. Thanks, EJ, by the way, for that awesome presentation. I learned a lot. I think, ano kasi, yung biggest stress of a freelancer is actually not the work. Like when we're in the zone, when we're working, when we're doing, graphic design, or when we're on set directing, it's not stress. It's actually dun lumalabas nga yung like that's where you get rid of that stress. But the stress always comes from saan manggagaling yung next racket, diba?
Yeah.
Where will the next job come from? Where will and the next paycheck? That's really and what a lot of people don't realize is, especially I think if you start off the bat, like let's say from college, and you're like kilala ka na nung college, and you start to get work off, is that there will come a time na na parang either sanay na yung mga tao sa'yo, or they'll go on to the next big thing, and you will have to hustle, diba?
True.
It's a part of the job, and I think intrinsically kasi yung Pinoy mindset is diba? Hindi pwede maging mayabang, hindi pwede maging ginawa ko to or whatever. And I get that, but
that's a block. Yeah.
But that also means na that doesn't mean naman you can't sell your stuff. You can't talk about your stuff kasi kailangan talaga diba? You, especially now na ang daming, there's so many avenues for people's work to be shown. It's hard to rise above the noise and say, well, this is what I do for a living and this is what I've done.
Right.
So it's a perfect. And then the stuff about yung mga search terms sa Facebook at Twitter, actually, that is really awesome. That's really cool.
To that point, actually, I feel like the young generation is forcing us to put ourselves out there. Kasi parang to them, it's just such a natural thing to do. Parang my kids are watching all these basically influencers, like people who open toys, for example. And parang to them, it's just a natural thing to speak, to speak their mind, to share their own like stories, and to put themselves out there essentially. And I feel like tayo as an older generation, parang feeling ko, we need to keep up, or at least ako, that's how I feel. No? Parang kailangan ko maging, how do you stay relevant? Diba? How do you stay relevant in this? All these people, diba?
And so Spencer and Sophia, they actually have very similar questions. Sophia's question is, what do you do when you burn out? And Spencer's question is, how do you keep yourself from being complacent, especially when you've reached a certain level?
Ano ulit yung second? Sige, burnout muna, and then the second one is?
How do you keep from being complacent, especially
complacent
when you've reached a certain level?
Okay, dun muna tayo sa burnout. Ako, yung tactical approach ko dyan was, which I had learned, and sort of, I still struggle with it at times, pero yung what I call the POP method of work, which is the pockets of productivity. So I try not to work. Initially, yung akala ko at home when you work, akala ko kailangan 8 hours a day ka rin nag-work eh. At akala ko, yung 8 hours a day na yon kailangan siya naka-chain, like 1 hour and then the next hour to the next hour to the next hour that you're working. I thought parang I had the old mindset of working. Look, you're working from home. Why are you working 9 to 5, right? So parang that's the wrong mindset to take. So parang ako, you essentially can't sit down for 2 hours, 3 hours just doing work. I don't know if maybe in the video editing space you can, or if you're in a factory, or if you're writing, you might be able to do that. I'm not sure. Or if you're painting, maybe. Pero like in my field, an hour or so tops, an hour, 30 minutes to an hour and a half, or an hour. I need to stand up and watch my Chloe, whatever, or watch, or eat. Kaka-lunch ko lang, mamaya kakain ulit kami ng asawa ko na mahilig siya kumain. Dito kami, kakain kami merienda. So parang to me, it's become part of my productivity is the breaks in between para maiwasan lang yung 3 oras na akong nakababad dito kasi taas mainit na yung ulo ko or yung bad trip na ako dun sa mga maingay around me, whether my child's asking for my phone or things like that. So POP method, pockets of productivity, 30 minutes to 90 minutes per working sprint. Take a break, 30 minutes, an hour. And then I do different POP sessions within the day. So I have 4 or 5 POPs, for example. And essentially you're working almost 8 hours a day or more. So, and it's okay not to chain all those hours together. So yun yung avoiding burnout. And then the other one is complacency. Complacency, well, we talked about it earlier. When you're forced into a corner, you have to move, diba? You have to move, otherwise you don't eat. And then another one, how do you stay complacent? Oh yes, I was complacent at one point in my career, and I sometimes fall into that. Back in 2008, when I talked to you earlier about all these working with clients, Nike and Adidas, and I won like a $10,000 t-shirt contest. Parang I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like, wow, I'm such a good t-shirt designer. Parang ganon. Parang it got to me. It got to my head in the sense na parang ang galing ko parang baka ito na yon. Parang ito na yung kailangan kong makamit para after this, wala na akong kailangan gawin. Tapos lalapit na lang kayo lahat sa akin dahil na-achieve ko tong mga things na to. And then I discovered quickly that it wasn't the case at all. Parang the more that you reach parang the pinnacle of something, the most dangerous thing is you feeling that you're there. The feeling that, the thinking that you've reached that pinnacle. That's the most dangerous thing. And I feel like that's when you become complacent. Kasi feeling mo, andun ka na eh. Meaning, wala ka nang makakamit na iba. At naging victim ako nun of my own little success. Parang I felt like, if you give somebody success, a young person, success, I feel like that's a very dangerous thing for them to achieve at such a young age. Parang because it makes you complacent and feel like there's nothing else for you to move up to. And then now I see like people all over the world, even in the Philippines, parang wow, ang galing nito, uy, ang galing nun, uy, ang galing nun. Parang ako, it makes me now parang I'm not gonna rest. Parang to me, I have to be better at something, and not in the sense na I'm better than that person, because that's not possible. Parang ako, it's what am I good at? I need to be very good at that. You know what I mean? So if I'm not as technical as you, say, Quark, if I'm also a director and you're highly technical, right? I don't have to be as highly technical as you, but there are things na I could be better than you at, then there, I will focus there. So parang, if you just discover that, never think that you've reached a point of na wala ka nang kailangan gawin. Because there will always be somebody better than you out there. As in somebody better than you.
Sige, before we continue, sorry, can Agnes, can you show the QR code? Just want to go back to our objective for this webinar, to get additional funding for the PPE of our frontliners. So if you want to donate and if you're enjoying this talk, you may scan this QR code provided on the screen through your Gcash app, and any amount will be appreciated. So please, I know, medyo na tayo, diba? Donation fatigue. Actually, I was talking to Jade about that also yesterday. But the need is consistent, and the need just because that big bulk of everyone donating in the beginning is done doesn't mean that our frontliners don't need PPE. So please donate whatever you can. Any small amount will do for that. And to go back to our conversation. Oh, actually, we talked about awards a while ago, and then like even though artists may find validation through awards, a reason I don't really subscribe to awards also is that I know you can't. I don't think, to your point earlier, you can't be better than someone as an artist, because if you try for that, parang I'll beat Brillante Mendoza. Magagawa rin ako ng films like him, and I'll be better than ganitong director. You neglect your voice, diba?
Yes.
Because diba parang ito yung mabentang style, yung 8-bit, diba? May time na 8-bit style was all the rage, and but then yun nga na-dilute yung your voice. I mean, for lack of a better.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I meant. Parang you be your best not in what that person is good at, but in your own voice and your own. Yes, can you get the charger, baby? Papakuha ko lang yung charger ko, nag-lowbat na yung aking phone.
Aljo has a very good question, actually, which I also at times have a problem. How do you know your price or rate?
Ako, okay, I get that a lot, and in my own workshops, actually, I tell them your price is so deeply personal talaga. Kumbaga, there is no right or wrong price. There is no standard price in anything, in any creative endeavor, or in any endeavor that somebody is willing to pay you for that. Parang even as a service. There's no right or wrong. It's really up to you. So what I do is, what I tell people is, parang there are several different pricing methodologies, whether you price for example, yung tingi style, right? You can apply that to work. So for example, if I have a client that requires a 5 social media posts per day, therefore it's tingi style. I price on a per piece basis. It would be different from somebody who needs an amazing social media video on a monthly basis or every 6 months. So parang merong tingi-tingi style, meron din yung based dun sa akin kasi kadalasan t-shirts, so minsan royalty based yung pricing. Meron din pricing based on the one thing that I rarely do is price per hour. The one thing that I advise, I'm just gonna remove the earphones. The one that creatives do is selling their hours. Kasi parang, can you still hear me?
Yeah, and it's a little less, but I can hear you.
Mahina?
Okay na. Parang baka na tayo, same. Ako rin wala akong head.
Naman. Wait, I think I might have to. Ito yung problema sa iPhone eh. Bawal mag-charge at
Ay,
Hindi ko naman narinig yung sa'yo. Wait.
Okay.
I'll if it dies here, I'll move to the laptop. Anyway,
Yeah.
so what are you talking about? Pricing? Oh, you have a question?
No, I think also to add to that, it for me it actually helps to ask. And ano parang nakakahiya kasi magtanong di ba? To ask around. So I don't ask AJ how much do you make per shirt. I don't say that, but I'll ask you, for example, so how much would a guy with like maybe 10 years experience get paid in for apparel versus yung mga and ano naman willing
Okay,
your peers and colleagues will probably give you the same answer had you ask them how much they make, pero at least that way, diba? Hindi siya very outright.
I do that with sila Dan, Tina, Joel. They are, bro, magkano ba yung ganito, di ba? And I don't know if they've asked me yet, but I always ask them as well. That, and yung sinasabi ko earlier is I really do sell my hours in terms of, kasi doon na yung parang the gray area, parang magkano ba yung per hora mo. Parang kaya nga ako nag-freelance online or from home is kaya iniiwasan mo yung selling your time. You sell tasks. You sell tasks instead of selling time. So if I sell a task a week, what is the task? Designing a shirt or creating a social media banner or, doing a video of a product every month or every week for the Instagram page of the client. So that's the task that I need to sell. So
Nonita and Troy, this is more or less say the same thing. Thanks for the pockets of productivity. I feel guilty if I feel so sleepy while doing work at home. So it's okay not to chain those 8 hours. And Troy says, I always feel guilty if I work at home and I'm not doing 8 to 5. So I've been doing it for 4 years now. I still work 8 to 12 hours a day even at home. It's actually ako nung freelance talagang I was the worst na talaga video games.
No, actually ako na-addict ako dyan sa video games, na-addict ako dyan. As in, I went through a stage talaga. Parang 5 hours or video games per day. That's the parang the danger of also working on your own time, diba? But yun nga, kaya nagawa ko yung pop. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, do you have an office? Do you have like do you need to be in a different space? Because some of our colleagues are ganun diba? Parang dapat they even go so far as to even rent co-working or a
I'm the opposite. I'm the total opposite. I'm scared if I'm alone. That's my Parang I'd rather work when people are around. Parang my children are sleeping, they're watching, Siyempre, kasama na dun yung kakalibitin ka or gusto mo kumain, gusto mo, can you fix this phone? Daddy, there's no internet. But, I mean, it's all part of life. To me nga, I work around life. That's my thing. Kasi if I say to the people around me, the people I love, hey, I'm working, therefore, life cannot happen when I'm working. I take it on the opposite parang spectrum. I say my life happens around me, meaning my children will need something. I will need to, when they were young, change their diapers or there's no yaya, I have to cook now. So parang when I shifted that mindset to thinking that is what's important, my life happening around me. So I am able to schedule the work around my life happening around me. Therefore, yung frustration mo ng creative person who needs to work, for example, wala na yun. Tanggal na yung naiinis ka kasi nag-cloy ka or naiinis ka kasi nakatulog ka or naiinis ka kasi game ka. Nag 2 hours ka Parang ako baliktad na yung how do I bring my career and my life so that I enjoy first life happening and that I can provide for my family despite focusing on life first, and then yung work will support that lifestyle. Parang ganon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yun.
That's a good note to end
Yeah.
everything. Actually.
Work around life. Yan.
Thank you, AJ, dude. So super thank you.
Kulang na lang wala tayong drinks, pare. We need
Oo nga eh.
some drinks.
Sabi ni Bing, who is probably listening right now because she organized this, this all ends. Sagot niya.
Ganda. I really enjoyed talking to you, man. I mean, you have to do this with more creative people. We need to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Lalo na ngayon.
Dude, yeah, I was excited when I said, "Oh, AJ, ako na yung kay AJ." So, thank you so much.
I'm honored, pare. I'm honored. Thank you, man.
Thank you, bro. And I will finish. Bianca, I think, is actually watching this talk, so I will finish Chloe. we will watch that shit.
Yeah, next time yung pag-usapan natin.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Thanks again, everyone. Can we show the QR code again, Agnes? Guys, please, again, if you enjoyed this talk, please donate what you can through Gcash, through the Creative Exchange QR code right here. And please tell everyone you know to watch this. It'll be available on the 0917 Facebook page and on the Globe Studios Facebook page. So awesome. Thanks, AJ. Have a good night, my friend.
Have a good one. Ingat, pare.
Take care, dude.
Thank you. Bye, guys.